What's up guys? In this video, we'll continue to add more controls to our homepage. We're going to add a header toolbar, table columns, and more. By the way, if you're new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to stick around because I'll give some tips about finding more icons that you can use for your tables and controls. Alright, let's jump into it. So just a small recap from our previous topic. So we discussed our project structure, what are the files and the folders inside our UI5 application. Then we moved on to adding more controls to our homepage, especially the button and an input password, and then have those controls set up with their properties and some events. So in this video, we'll start to add the main table to our homepage, especially adding the header toolbar. We also have the sort icons and the group icons, and then we'll also create column headers for those sales orders lists. So going back to our final output, as you can see, we have this main table on our homepage, and then in this table you have your table title, and then on the other side of the table is your search field together with the sort and the group icon. After creating the header toolbar, we'll move on to the tables column, which contains your sales order ID, your customer name, your status, and your gross amount. And then after creating those column headers, we'll create sample items of orders, which will be displayed in the table body itself. Before proceeding to the actual code, the first question we need to answer is what type of control or which table should we use in our application. Going back to our SAPUI5 SDK, so out of the box, UI5 provides several types of table which you can use for your UI5 application. So you have your responsive table, your grid table, and your analytical table, and last is your tree table. So each of these table controls serves a different purpose, and you must find the suitable control depends in your project. For example, the responsive table supports desktop, tablet, and phone, while your grid table only supports desktop and tablet. So responsive table is the base table or the default table when you cannot decide which one to use. Also, take note of the supported controls. As you can see, responsive table supports all kinds of controls, while the other succeeding table is only limited. As a rule of thumb, if you don't know which table to use, make sure to check the features first. So in our case, we'll just use the responsive table in our project, since the responsive table supports all kinds of controls inside a line item. So we're now back in our source code, specifically the home view.xml. Let's first comment out or remove our previous code so we can insert our table in our page content. So let's type table, and then it's a good practice to provide a unique identifier for each control so that when you refer to them in your controller, you won't have any conflicts, or you can easily directly manipulate the control in runtime. Just provide an ID. I'll just set this ID to ID orders table. So next step is to check what are the possible child controls we can put inside our table. So we'll now go to our SAPUI5 SDK. So we're now in the sap.m table. As you can see, there's an aggregation for columns, which later on will be used for our sales order items. We can actually check the show borrowed aggregation to show more aggregations or aggregations that are inherited from the parent class. As you can see, there are several aggregations you can use, but we are especially interested with the header toolbar. So the header toolbar accepts 0 to 1 cardinality, or it means 0 to 1 control. So it means you can only insert one child control inside the header toolbar, and it only accepts SAPM.toolbar controls. There's also a note here that The header toolbar overrides the header text if you provided the aggregation. So let's investigate what type of toolbars are possible to be inserted inside the header toolbar. Just click on your sapm.toolbar. So in sapm.toolbar, you can easily identify which are the subclasses or the direct child of this control that you can use in your table by going to the known direct subclasses. So click here and then you will see that there are two possible controls that we can use. So it's the sapm.overflow toolbar and then the sap.uxap.anchorbar. So for our exercise, we'll be using the overflow toolbar. Alright, so now we know that there's an aggregation called header toolbar. We can create that aggregation inside our table. You can also type in the control space or enable the auto completion, so you can see that there's a aggregation header toolbar, and just choose that one. Inside the header toolbar, it accepts one child control, which should be under the class of sap.m.toolbar. And as we can see from the SDK, there's an overflow toolbar that we can use. So go ahead and type that control. Next is to fill up this toolbar with the title and the search field together with the sort and the group icons. Alright, so we have our output on the right side and then we have our source code on the left side, so we can easily picture with the final output. Let's start adding the header toolbar controls. So let's add the title, set its text to orders, and then we can also add the search field, set its width to 20% so it doesn't fill up the whole length of the screen, and then add another button. Let's add the tooltip to the button, sort, set its icon to SAP-icon :sort, and then let's add another button, set the tooltip to group and then its icon to SAP.icon :group-2. Alright, so we just created several controls inside our overflow toolbar. So let's try to rerun the application. So as you can see, we have the table orders title, and then we also have the search field, and it's set to 20% of the width, and then you have your sort, and then you have your group. But all of our items are currently on the left side of the screen, so if you want to move the search field to the other side, you can actually place another control called toolbar spacer. Toolbar spacer actually just creates an empty space between controls, which takes up the remaining space of the whole width of your viewport. Then now we have the title on the left side and all of the remaining controls on the right side of the header toolbar. Right, so next is to add the columns of the table. So as we saw from the UI5 SDK, there's a column aggregation or child container that we can use. So let's now set up the columns for our table. So inside the columns aggregation, you can actually place another control called column, which will contain the column header. So inside the column control, there's also another child control that we can place, which is the text control. So let's create a text control and set its text to sales order ID. So save your application and rerun. So as you can see, now we have a single column, which is the text sales order ID. So just repeat the column for the succeeding headers. So let me just put those headers in our columns aggregation. So I just finished my column headers and I'll try to rerun the application and see the output. So there we have it. We have our sales order ID, your customer name, your status, and your gross amount. Next is to add the items or the rows in our table. So there's also an aggregation called items. Items actually accepts different type of list items, but for this table, we'll be using the column list item. Let's set the type to navigation. So we are now inside the column list item control, and inside the column list item control is the sales aggregation. This will provide the actual values to the rows of our table. So I'll provide the source code in the description box below for you to copy paste into your homeview.xml. So I added 4 controls to our column list item, specifically the object identifier, text, object status, and object number. Each of these controls will correspond to the column that we provided a while ago. So object identifier will be the value for the sales order ID. The text will be under the customer name. The object status will display the status field column, and then the gross amount will be represented by the object number. So let's go ahead and save this one and then refresh our application. Alright, so our application just loaded, and as you can see, we have a single item or sales order item in our table. As you can see, the sales order ID is set to 1, customer name is to the customer name 1, and then the status has a green color because of the property we provided a while ago. And then we also have an icon beside the status. And then the other column, we also have the 199 USD, which represent the object number that we provided on the column list item. So let's go ahead and repeat the column list item several times just to see what will be the table output. So you can just copy paste this and then modify the values. Alright, so what we've done so far is we added some controls to our home view.xml and started to build our orders list table, as well as to add some columns and row items. So these row items are just temporary values so that we can see the output of our table. And our next focus will be creating these controls dynamically rather than hard coding the values to the view itself. We'll also tackle some controller events so that we can interact to our UI or user interface, and then we add some controller functions so that we can enhance the functionality and behavior of our homepage. Alright, so we're done with our homepage sales order table, and as you can see, we are using the same status for the 3 sales order that we have. So my tip for today is to share with you guys how can you search for more SAP standard icons that you can use in your controls. So going back to your SAP UI5 SDK, under Tools is your Icon Explorer. So you can just scroll down and go to Icon Explorer. Open this link. The Icon Explorer is basically a collection of SAP standard icons that you can use to your SAP UI5 controls. So let's try to search for status. So if you search the Icon Explorer, you will be prompted with a lot of SAP icons, and there's also availability column if the icon is only available in SAP UI5 or is it available as well in OpenUI5. So I'll be using status error. So after searching the icon, you will be redirected to this page. So this page contains some information about the icon. What you'll be interested in is the SAP icon value or the icon text value that you need to put into your SAP UI5 control. So this one on your upper right corner, copy that to your clipboard, go back to your source code. So we're back here in our source code, and let's just paste the icon value to your icon property. So I'll just change this one as well to error and just set the state to error as well. Save, then rerun. So as you can see now, our sales order ID number 2 is set to status critical icon and as well as the state as an error. Alright, so we're done adding contents to our homepage. Next is to use the controllers and models in this page. The next lesson, we'll continue creating our control events and using models to dynamically populate our table. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like this video, leave a like, and I will see you in the next one.